and welcome to That 80/20 Girl podcast. I'm your host, Ruchika, and thank you for joining me this week to hang out. Today's topic is a very exciting topic. It is my college roommate's bachelorette trip to Thailand. We're going to talk all about that trip, from my budget to the apps you need to all the must do's on a girl's bachelorette in Thailand. So, this trip was planned because it's my college roommate's wedding this November in Goa, and I'm so excited. So she and me are the only people left to get married in our group. And it was a running joke between us that who will be getting married last. So picture this. One April morning, she video calls me while I'm still in bed and all of our friends are on the line. She suddenly announces, I beat you. And I was so confused because I was like, I don't know what you mean. I've barely woken up. I don't know what's going on. And then she just was like, I'm getting married this November. And oh my gosh, I was just over the moon. And literally, my next statement to her was, we need a bachelorette. So I'm the unofficial trip planner in my life. And I absolutely love taking on that responsibility, no matter who I'm traveling with. While others may see it as a hassle, I view it as an adventure. No kidding. The excitement of planning a trip, it just invigorates my soul. I love researching new destinations, finding hidden gems, getting into those local spots, finding those must do's, which are not these tourist traps, but these local spots that you wouldn't know about unless you actually did either thorough research or you immersed yourself into the local scene. I love creating those unforgettable experiences and ensuring everybody has a great time. Plus, there's something incredibly rewarding about seeing a plan come together and watching everyone enjoy the journey that I've put together. So, before I get into the episode of all things from my college roommate's bachelorette, I'd like to do a quick weekly recap. So, this last week, we decided to lay low and fully embrace our downtime at home. Work has just been incredibly busy lately, and all the planning from the last 3 months of the year has really caught up with me. I've been juggling like a million things at once, so taking a step back was really what I needed this time. I spent the whole week sorting everything out, from making event schedules to workout routines. There's something so satisfying about organizing and getting everything in order. I found a few great templates online that helped me create a streamlined schedule for the upcoming months, and that just made me feel so much more in control. In addition to this, I took some time to focus on my health. So I mapped out my workouts for the week. I just wanted a good mix of cardio, strength training, and yoga. It just felt refreshing to have a structured plan that I could stick to, especially after such a hectic period. Meanwhile, meal prep was another big focus. I dedicated an entire day to prepping healthy meals for the week ahead, and I wanted to experiment with some new recipes and batch cook some of my favorites. So it's not only that it saved me time, but it also made easier to eat well even on busy days. This week, I also have taken out time to reconnect with some long distance friends and cousins over the phone after quite a while. I mean, with life getting so busy, it's easy to let go of those meaningful connections. And while they slip through the cracks, I want to still make it a priority to maintain all my relationships. So I made sure I caught up with so many people over this weekend, and it was just one of the most wholesome times because I felt like I've missed out on so much with all these relationships of mine over the past few weeks. I also made sure to carve out moments for relaxation, like reading, watching shows with Rowan, or simply just enjoying my cup of matcha while sitting out in the soothing sound of rain. This downtime has allowed me to recharge and reflect on what I wanted to prioritize in the coming months. But also, I just feel so energized now, and I feel like I can take on this week. Overall, this week has been all about balance, where I'm tackling responsibilities while also making space for self care and relaxation. Next is my word of the week. This week, my focus is on the theme of the balancing act, which I think rightly fits into it because I'm trying to manage self care alongside the demands of everyday life. Every day hasn't been the same. And lately, I found myself so caught up in the hustle of work responsibilities, family obligations, and social commitments. Because of this, one after the other, I've just had to push my own well being to the sidelines. It's been a constant struggle to carve out time for self care without feeling guilty about neglecting other areas. So I just realized that prioritizing my mental and physical health is essential for maintaining that balance. By setting aside time dedicated for activities that rejuvenate me, or simply just enjoying quiet times, I'm just better equipped to handle all this chaos. This balancing act is a reminder for me that taking care of myself isn't just a luxury, but it's a necessity that ultimately enhances my ability to show up for others and manage life's many demands. So, balancing act is definitely my word of the week. Now, let's get into our episode. So, this trip lasted a total of 7 days with one full day dedicated to travel, which I'm counting this to and fro as well. So, half a day while going and half a day while coming back. We spent 5 days in Hua Hin in Thailand and one day in Bangkok. So, we chose Hua Hin because it has this laid back beach vibe similar to South Goa, perfect for relaxation, especially since our bride to be is currently in her bridezilla phase and really needed a well deserved chill vacation. But also, we wanted to make the most of our last night, so we decided to add a fun party night in Bangkok to the mix. So, first, I decided to book the flights for us. We were in all five girls, but one of our girlfriends fell sick last minute, so she couldn't make it. So, we ended up being four of us. One of us was the bride to be, who was Prachiti. One was her sister, Praniti. One was a flatmate from Bombay, Payal, and the other was me. Prachiti was my roommate in MIT Pune, where we studied undergrad in design, and we were eight girls in total. That phase of my life was such a blast with my girls too, and we are still very close. And we end up meeting every single month. It's almost like we have all grown up together and are so tight in spite of all these years where we have had job changes, relocations, marriages, and now babies, basically all of it. So, first things first, as soon as we decided that there's a bachelorette that was on the cards, I started researching places that could be a good mix of partying and chilling. So, I went from Maldives to Mauritius to Sri Lanka to Thailand. And of course, Thailand won hands down. And I have so many reasons why. Thailand is just such an exceptional choice for a bachelorette because it offers a blend of relaxation, adventure, and this cultural richness that caters to every aspect of the celebration. It's just reminiscent of a tropical paradise. While a vibrant city like Bangkok, it provides an exciting nightlife where it covers rooftop bars, nightclubs, and unique experiences. The perfect combo here is that there is an affordability of luxury in Thailand, which means that you can indulge in lavish accommodations, exquisite spa treatments, and delicious local cuisine without overspending. Lastly, the warm hospitality of Thai people, the inviting atmosphere makes it easy for friends to bond and create lasting memories together. So, of course, Thailand was going to win as the final choice. And I'm never going to get over it. I've just decided that this has got to be an annual trip now. I love, love, love Thailand. Now it was about where in Thailand we wanted to go. So I've been to Bangkok, Pattaya, Krabi, Phuket, Phi already, but I was down to go to any of them again as well. But I had stumbled across this hidden gem called Hua Hin on some Instagram pages and some Pinterest boards as well. So I pitched it to the group and everyone just agreed. First and foremost, the picturesque coastline features the most gorgeous golden sands and clear waters. And unlike some more touristy areas, Hua Hin has this relaxed vibe. It's just perfect for anybody seeking a peaceful getaway while still offering a variety of activities. So you can expect vibrant markets, delicious local cuisine, beachfront restaurants, local night markets. It's just perfect for shopping and sampling street food as well. And of course, there are massages, spa treatments, hair treatments, nail treatments, you name it, and they have it. It's just low key enough that not very many people know about it. Plus, we were going to be traveling in the off season, so very few tourists, everything is cheaper, and you get most places to yourselves. And not to mention, Thailand is one of the safest places I've traveled to. So, as a girl's bachelorette, it was a win win all over. So, once we decided on Hua Hin, I booked the tickets on makemytrip.com, but you can also check on the actual Indigo app or booking.com. Wherever you find cheap tickets, just go for it. It costed us around 23,000 rupees each. After this came hotels. I'd suggest booking your hotels and flights 2 months in advance, especially if you're going in peak season. But if you're going in the monsoon, which is like the off season, you can just book your flights in advance and hotels can be booked a month prior. Everybody says the best time to go is March to May, but I think the best time to go is June to September. I mean, yeah, it is the rainy season, but I kid you not, I have been to Thailand twice in the rainy season and it's not rained at all. So I've just gotten lucky, but I mean, I just love it with the lesser crowds and everything being cheaper. I mean, I'd prefer the monsoon season for sure. So I shortlisted some hotels and sent it to the crew. We were sure that we wanted something near the beach and near the city center as well, so we could almost walk everywhere. So we stayed at the Ban Bayan Hotel. It is a boutique hotel right on the beach, has an infinity pool, which is open from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., which is a great bonus. It's got a private beach and it's got only 20 rooms. It's a bungalow that's been converted to a hotel, so every single room is different from the other, and those rooms are huge. They are like a great value for money, and the breakfast spread is a delight for any non vegetarian. I mean, on my last trip to Phuket, we stayed at the Holiday Inn. So the breakfast spread over there was just insanity. But this is a boutique hotel, so everything is smaller, warmer, cozier. So remember that if you're booking this place. The staff is absolutely the sweetest, and I can't recommend this place enough because they literally returned my Apple Watch that I forgot one of the evenings by the pool, and also gave me a rice bag to dip my water-soaked phone. Yes, I did that. I'll get there, of course. I'll give this place a 10 on 10 and will definitely stay here again. We lucked out with this place so much. We literally got it for 11,000 rupees for 5 days per person. 1 week before your trip, a few things to remember would be exchange cash for how much ever you think you'll need. Just take extra for safety. This has happened to one of our friends where they didn't take enough and they swiped their credit card, and those international transaction fees were insane. I think they charge her like 10% on each transaction. So you definitely don't want that. If you have a travel Forex card with zero transaction fees, you should be sorted. But I'd still recommend taking cash, which you could either exchange before traveling or do an exchange there. If you decide to exchange cash in Thailand, don't do it at the airports unless it's a real emergency, because of course you'll get better rates in the city. You'll need cash in local joints, night markets, spas, nail salons, and most of the places in Hua Hin for sure, because they're still cash, because they are still very low key and very local. So definitely take cash. Another thing is SIM cards. Either activate your roaming or just get a card from this company called Matrix. They have eSIMs as well as normal SIM cards. They're really cheap internet plans and give you enough data in those so you can do WhatsApp calling and use internet on the go for travel. Wi-Fi is great in most places, but you should definitely keep your internet phone handy for traveling locally. This Matrix SIM card, I think, costs like 1,000 rupees. One more thing in Thailand is it's visa free since the last three trips I've taken. I don't know when this will be applicable till, but for now, you don't need a visa. All you need is a valid passport for at least the next 6 months and you're ready to go. So now all the fun starts. All the girls reach the airport at 5:30. We, I think, had an 8:30 a.m. flight, which by Ruchika standards, for all those who know me, is super early. I usually am always super late for my flights, and my name is called at the last call at least 10 times in my memory now. So we were way ahead of time, but that check in took like an hour, and the line was just huge. I don't know what it was that day, but the total time for immigration and security were literally half the time that it took to check in. But we here are the half glass full kind of girls, so we were happy because we got four aisle seats, two next to each other and two right after. So there's always a silver lining, guys. Now that we had an hour to spare, of course, we had to go to the lounge. Airports are my favorite place in the world. I kid you not, because you never know what time it is there. So we literally start the trip with grabbing beers and breakfast. So after landing in Bangkok, you have to take a cab to Hua Hin as it's a 3 hour cab ride away. You need transportation apps for sure. One is Grab, which is like their Uber, and another one is InDrive. InDrive only works in bigger cities, so it works in Bangkok, Phuket, but not in Hua Hin. It's much cheaper than Grab, but Grab is much quicker. Grab also has food delivery, which is an added bonus. All my late nights have been reserved for 7-Eleven halls or Grab Eats. I'll get into the beauty that 7-Eleven in Thailand is just a little bit later. So we land around 3, all bags intact. We're all so hungry and we booked an in-drive for Hua Hin. Our driver didn't know English, so another tip here is download Google Translate or a translate app that you like, because that is super helpful in Hua Hin. Most of the people there only speak Thai. We reached at around 7:30 in the evening, I think, and we checked in. Oh my gosh, what rooms. Our rooms were huge. Both our rooms were different. One had a courtyard with a garden and another had a private deck. Both had separate vanities, huge bathrooms with bathtubs, And oh my God, I'm such a sucker for good bathrooms. Hua Hin is a day place, so things generally close by 10, so remember that. It didn't really bother us because we didn't really have plans for that night. So we got changed, decided to go grab some tops, which is another convenience store like 7-Eleven. It was right outside our hotel. So we picked up some stash of snacks for the room and beers. Then we went to our hotel beach. We had such a good setup there. Oh my God. Music, beers, favorite snacks, and the entire beach to ourselves in the dark. What a vibe. Stars that night were magical from our beach beds and the sand under my feet. Oh my God. I even saw a shooting star and I was like, this is just a sign that this is going to be an epic trip. We didn't even realize, I don't even know how long we were there, but we were there for hours into that night. Now comes day two. So we reached just in time for breakfast before closing, but the highlight here is that epic breakfast facing the beach. Such a good spread, and again, even breakfast all to ourselves because we were so late. Before the trip, everyone got to pick an activity they would love to do, and we would spread it over the 4 days. So, 4 people and 4 activities. So, I picked wine tasting since everyone knows my love for wines. We all got dressed up after breakfast to call cute pictures at the property and decided to take a cab to the winery. This winery is called Monsoon Valley Vineyard. That's when we realized that an InDrive doesn't work here, so you got to book a grab. And also, since there is no trip for the cab guy from there back, we negotiated with him to stay there for a few hours and get us back as well. Okay, this part is so funny. The cab guy was so nice that he entertained this DJ Nazi, that is Ritrika, because it's a 45-minute drive and I need my bangers playing. I just have this innate habit that when I sit in a car, I gotta have my music playing, or it's just like, just play good music for that matter. I don't know if you guys feel the same, but I'm the one who generally volunteers and has like 1,000 songs downloaded on my YouTube music. So of course I had to beg the guy to let us play our songs. And he was so sweet that he gave in. This was so fun. Good God. At some point I remember I told everyone, let's make it a game. And everyone gets one song, including the driver in turns. He was totally vibing with us. And that is when I realized people all over the world are the same. You just gotta be kind enough and converse with them. On reaching the vineyard, we realized it's a huge sprawling estate, one of the most beautiful wineries I've been to. And mind you, I've been to a lot of them. Every corner is an Instagram photo op, and the weather that day was just perfect. You can make reservations online, but since it was the off season, we decided to just walk in and we lucked out. I highly recommend making that reservation in advance because it generally sells out. So we decided to do the wine tasting at Sala, which is their in-house restaurant. It has the most spectacular panoramic views of the valley. We ordered some yum wine tastings and of course a charcuterie board, and then got this bottle of award-winning wine that we liked. It was so good. I mean, they've won 300 plus awards for their wines over all these years, and rightly so. This winery is a place you just can't miss if you're in Hawaii. We were there for hours there as well, and we got so many pictures thanks to the staff there, chatted non-stop, and soaked in so many parts of that place. We got back to our hotel just in time for the happy hour, and we decided to hit our hotel pool and grab some food and drinks there. What a pool! It's an infinity pool with lounge chairs, so you can soak in the views of the beach, and they get you your drinks right there. The staff is absolutely the kindest, and by the end of the evening, they knew all our drinks and kept getting them for us even without asking. What fun! They really know their shit, and you're in for a treat, trust me. At some point, we even walked on the beach with our drinks because the sand and water were just calling out to me, of course. And the water baby that I am, I had to give in to that calling every single day of vacation. This is why beach vacations are my absolute favorite, and I wouldn't have it any other way. That night, we just decided to walk around and just walk into any good dinner place we see. So we did exactly that and stumbled upon this all you can eat, make your own grill. We reached there like 45 minutes before closing, but they were so kind to accommodate us. You take all your meat, seafood, veggies, and you can grill them on your own at your table. We ate, and we overate. Gosh, that was some real, fresh, finger licking good food, guys. Thailand just knows how to do their food like no other. So we ended our night at the beach with some treats since it was Praniti's birthday eve. We called in her birthday at the beach, and there was no better setting to do this. Then comes day three, which is Praniti's actual birthday, and we gave her a choice of what she wanted to do. So, after enjoying this delicious breakfast facing the water, we decided to kick off the celebrations with this refreshing beach walk. As we walked along the shore, we took in stunning views of this turquoise water and just that feeling of that soft sand between our toes. We chatted, we laughed, making it the perfect setting to begin her special day. The beach was so peaceful. It let us soak in the beauty around us without those usual crowds. As we walked back, we talked about our plans for the day and how to make her birthday unforgettable. It was a simple yet meaningful way to celebrate her as the first activity. Next, she wanted a massage, so that's where we decided to go. There is no perfect time in Thailand to get a massage, so of course, we head to the spa for some much needed pampering. We settled into this room, calming sense of essential oils filling the space. Each one of us chose our preferred type of treatment, and those therapists there, they just work their magic, melting us into bliss. After the massage, we were treated to this special herbal tea that felt like the perfect ending to our spa experience. Sipping on that tea, we all agreed that this pampering session now needs to become a daily ritual. What could be better than enjoying moments of bliss and bonding with my girls? Oh gosh, I love Thailand. After a late spa morning, Praniti and I decided to check out a bookstore since we're both avid book lovers, while the other girls headed to the mall for some shopping. We stumbled upon Tony's bookshop, this old school gem that felt like a step back in time. The owner, a rather grumpy but fascinating lady, she surprised us by warming up to us as we browsed. She even allowed us to take pictures of the shop, which was a big deal since she usually doesn't let people do it. She mentioned that most people are just interested in photo ops because that entire bookstore is like an Instagram photo op in itself. It was clear she poured her heart into the place. The books were meticulously arranged in a unique way, organized alphabetically by the authors' names. So, me and Praniti ended up chatting with her for a solid hour, sharing our love for literature and discovering hidden gems on the shelves. She even helped us pick a book, and then we left with some fantastic reads, feeling like we'd had such a fun and novel experience that perfectly captured the charm of the place. So, after this delightful book adventure, we reunited with the girls at the mall and our stomachs rumbling with hunger. So, in Thailand, malls are a whole experience of their own, especially when it comes to food. The basement level is essentially a food paradise. It almost resembles a food court, but with a twist. Right there, we dove right in, sampling from around 10 to 15 different stalls, and I kid you not, every single dish was better than the last. From savory Thai woks to mouth-watering street food, the flavors were out of this world. If you're a meat lover, this place is pure heaven. We tried everything from tender grilled meats to succulent dumplings, and the fresh juices and smoothies complemented that feast perfectly. And of course, we cannot forget about desserts. Each one was a delightful surprise. I'm drooling thinking about this right now. After this, it was summer shopping for all of us because we couldn't resist picking up bikinis and swimsuits. Because let's be honest, a girl can never have too many. We browsed around, snagging a few more items, and it was time to head back for happy hour again. Who could complain about sipping drinks with one on one offers and ocean views while watching the sunset? This time we decided to mix things up and take a refreshing dip in the ocean. Just a quick heads up, there have been jellyfish at every beach in Thailand for the past couple years. So it's a good idea to grab some antidote from places like Tops or 7-Eleven before you get in. Trust me, those little guys can sting, but no jellyfish was going to keep me out of the water. Once we were in there, the swim was absolutely amazing. The water was just perfect and the weather spot on. Clear skies, no rain, and temperature just right. Not too cold, not too hot. The ocean breeze was incredible as it blew against our faces, and it was just a blissful experience overall. After all of this, we were so exhausted, we decided to eat at the hotel itself and then get dressed up and go out to get some drinks. We had planned to go to this rooftop bar, so we get a grab and reach there, and that's when we realized Google didn't update it and it was shut for renovation. There was no way in hell that I was going to give up and this was going to stop us. We decided to just walk around and look for bars. We walked like 100 meters, and lo and behold, we find a raging rooftop bar right over there. It had live music, great drinks, and a full on party scene. Too much fun. For the life of God, though, I can't remember the name of that place, but what a day. Next is day four. Day four was supposed to be the bride's activity, so we reached there after breakfast. It's called the Vana Nava Water Jungle, which is this water park. So we all reached there, and I'm super excited. Everybody is. And that's when we realized it's packed. It's packed because there are so many tourists waiting outside in line to get in. This is when we had to think on our feet and we had to pivot. We all hate crowds, and it's my biggest pet peeve in water parks that too much crowd means people are peeing there. Don't blame me, it's just something I've had since childhood. So we moved our water park idea to the next day, and then we decided to pick another activity which a friend wanted. It's called the Sundance Beach Club, the next best thing for sure. Everything in Hua Hin except the winery is like 15 minutes away, so it worked out to our advantage, and we got a grab and reached there. On reaching there, we were literally the first people to get in and open that place. So there you go. We had that place to ourselves as well. Imagine a chill afternoon at a beach club in Thailand during off season. So just me and my friends for this epic bachelorette getaway, totally minus the crowds. As we walk in, the soft sound of waves greets us, and the sun is pouring down, wrapping everything in that golden glow we've been dreaming about. Of course, we got yum curated cocktails, and each one was better than the other. We take a moment there to just be, laugh and share stories, play some drinking games, just feeling that carefree energy around us. As the afternoon rolls on, I just can't help feeling grateful about this trip with my girls. We're lounging in pure bliss, surrounded by stunning views, and it's the ultimate day of relaxation and celebration where time feels like it's standing still, just letting us recharge. This pivot was such a good idea. After this, we made our way to Hua Hin Market, and let me tell you, that place is an absolute vibe. As soon as we arrived, the energy was infectious. That market was bustling with life, filled with colorful stalls, showcasing everything from handcrafted souvenirs to delicious street food. We grabbed some drinks from a nearby stall and set off to wander through the myriad of food options. As we mingled with the locals and other travelers, it felt like we were truly experiencing the heart of Hua Hin. After all that excitement, we capped our evening with a rejuvenating massage, and it was the perfect way to unwind after that fun filled day. Sharing our favorite moments from the day in a state of complete relaxation was the cherry on top. Such a good day. Then comes day five, which, funnily enough, is also the bride's birthday, and her wish was our command. So we spent the entire day at the Vananavar Water Jungle Park as promised. And let me tell you, it was absolutely insane. Though I was skeptical initially, but it was well worth it. I'll tell you the best part. The park was practically empty, which felt like our own private paradise. As soon as we arrived, we were welcomed by this vibrant jungle theme. It has got lush greenery and colorful decorations, and the entire park is just such a happy place. There's something for every one of us. It's got thrilling VR rides, it's got water slides, it's got a wave pool, it's got multiple jacuzzis with different temperatures, hot, cold, and medium. So you can cool off or warm up whatever you want. And of course, my favorite part had to be the lazy river. Floating along in that calm, meandering current, it was pure bliss. Until, of course, my phone decided to take a dive. I had a waterproof cover, but somehow I still managed to get water into it. I don't even know how. Talk about a heart stopping moment. Oh, God. Everything seemed fine at first, but later that night, my phone just stopped working. The hotel staff was so kind. They offered me a rice bag to help dry it out, but that meant I was without my phone for the next 3 days. Definitely a little inconvenient, but since I'm that half glass full girl, I went back to living old school life without a phone, and we had plenty of laughs about it and turned it into one of those memorable stories from the trip for sure. Despite that little adventure, that lazy river was the perfect way to recharge between more adrenaline pumping rides. Let's not forget that park was serving beers. Actually, it was serving all alcoholic drinks, but the beers were so refreshing, available all over the park. And it was like these small photo op corners in different ends of the park, which actually you could sit, relax, catch a break, drink, eat. Overall, it was an unforgettable day filled with laughter, adventure, and a few surprises, making Varanava a must visit. I would suggest like you have to make it a must do if you visit Hua Hin. After our day at the park, we freshened up and got dressed for a night out to celebrate the birthday girl. We headed to a local spot for its live music. Once inside, we found this cozy spot, and from there, we could enjoy the performances while sipping on some yum cocktails. The live band was incredible. It played a mix of upbeat tunes that put everyone in the mood to dance. We literally raised our glasses to toast, sharing heartfelt wishes and just thinking about and reminiscing all the fun memories we made so far on the trip. It was the perfect way to honor our friend and create lasting memories together. It was just good vibes, great tunes, and the joy of being here on our last night in Hua Hin before we headed to Bangkok the next morning. On our last day, we set off to Bangkok and checked into our hotel. It's called the Away Hotel. We chose it for the perfect location and the incredible saltwater pool that it has, just what we needed. After settling in, we decided to explore some shops for souvenirs to remember our trip by. We found some unique local goodies and picked up some yum drinks to take home and share with our friends and family. Of course, we couldn't resist hitting up 7-Eleven. Okay, so let me tell you, 7-Eleven in Thailand is hands down the best in the world. It's not just your average convenience store, it's like a hidden treasure trove with delicious snacks, meals, and quirky finds. I love it because it captures the perfect essence of Thailand, vibrant, flavorful, and full of surprises. On this trip, I scored an amazing bikini, the yummy shrimp burger, a funky nail polish, and the smoothie face wash, which I'm obsessed with, all in one 7-Eleven. Can you believe it? So after a 7-Eleven haul, we came to the room, freshened up, and set off to Chinatown. We wanted to experience the famed Michelin-starred food from Jay Fei. I don't know if you've heard of her. She's this culinary superstar featured on Netflix. Let me tell you, it was the best food I have had in Thailand, hands down. In fact, I think it's the best Thai food I've ever had. The flavors were so incredible. Every bite would just sit in your mouth and melt you into this blissful experience. That entire bustling atmosphere there, where Jfei gives no two shits. There's a board which says no photographs because she's so sick of people clicking photographs of her. And she's this grumpy old lady, but every dish is made by her. It's made to order. It's an experience like no other. You have got to go there if you're in Bangkok. Plus, that atmosphere in Chinatown just added to the experience with the bustling street, loud noises, and vibrant energy around us. After indulging in that delicious meal, we decided to explore the area a bit more. That's when we stumbled upon a cozy spa. And of course, we had to treat ourselves to a massage. It felt so good to unwind after a day filled with travel. But the adventure didn't just end there. Right next to the spa was this hidden speakeasy bar, and getting to it was quite the journey. We had to climb 6 flights of stairs. It's got no elevator. It's a bit of a trek, but once you reach the top, the views are absolutely worth it. The city skyline is lit up around you, and the atmosphere is so laid back and inviting. It's got like beds on the floor, people are talking loudly over each other. There's like drinks, loud music. It's just so fun. And we had an absolute blast there. So, after a spa and rooftop adventure, we found ourselves then on the legendary Khao San Road, and wow, what a vibe. That energy was just electric. It was all over lit up with colorful lights, live music, and thousands of people there walking down the street. We stumbled upon a spot called Riri Khausan, and it turned out to be an absolute gem. The place had the best DJ and a phenomenal singer who was beatboxing like a pro, creating an atmosphere that was impossible to resist dancing. We ended up spending hours there, totally immersed in the music and that infectious energy in the crowd. I can't even describe how much fun we had. It was the perfect way to celebrate our last night of The Bachelorette. We danced our hearts out, letting loose and enjoying every single moment. It felt like the ultimate send off, surrounded by friends, laughter, and unforgettable beats. Choosing Khausan for our final night was definitely one of the best decisions we made, and it created memories that we'll cherish forever. What a way to wrap up an incredible adventure. The next morning, feeling a bit hungover, not a bit, a lot hungover, but I was still buzzing from that amazing night. We headed to Cafe Amazon for much needed coffee. After we packed our bags, we headed to the airport. and we just took a moment to reflect on that incredible journey we had on that cab ride to the airport. All in all, that trip cost us 75,000 rupees each for an entire week, which included everything except shopping. Honestly, what a steal. This is exactly why I love the off season for Thailand, and it's my favorite. The crowds are smaller, everything is more affordable, and the hospitality is just amazing. It really makes for a more enjoyable experience, I think. If you're considering a trip, I highly recommend going during the off season. What a trip it was. We had an absolute blast together. These memories are going to last a lifetime. This was hands down the best bachelorette getaway, and it was filled with so much great girl energy. We've even decided to turn this into an annual tradition. It truly was the perfect way to celebrate friendship and love. So that's all for my all things bachelorette from my college roommates' bachelorette trip. I hope you like this episode and you get so many ideas for your next girls' trip. Thanks for joining me on this journey, and I can't wait to catch up with you next Wednesday. Until then, keep having fun and chasing that 80-20 balance, my loves.